Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Midday Live from our News Hub studios here at Adisawe Kandai in Accra. My name is Noble Crosby Annan. In the bulletin this afternoon, former President John Mahama promising to scrap ex gratia payment to Article 71 office holders will find out if there are other ways of bridging the gap in the public sector. Also in the bulletin, fisher folks at Shama Apo in the Western region demonstrate over the lack of a landing beach. Plus, the head of the ECOWAS election observing mission in Nigeria polls, Ernest Bai Koroma, wants Ghana to consolidate the democratic gains ahead of the 2024 general elections. On the international front, France promises $53 million to new forest protection plan. We have details of these stories and a lot more coming to you in the next 60 minutes if you stay with us. You're welcome to the program. You could also watch us on social media, TV3 Ghana or on DSTV channel 279. Thank you for joining us on those platforms as well. Let's start off the afternoon with some news on politics. And as you know, former President John Dramani Mahama has launched his campaign to lead the NDC in the 2024 general elections. Now, he was speaking also about the controversial payment of ex gratia to Article 71 office holders. He insisted he will scrap its payments to the executive should he be re-elected in the 2024 general elections.
Will reduce significantly the size of government. And as announced in my speech at the UPSA late last year, in a crisis situation like this, it is my belief that this country can be governed efficiently with 60 ministers and deputy ministers. We will initiate and undertake the most far-reaching constitutional, political and governance reforms under the Fourth Republic, which will be aimed at restoring confidence in our democracy and governance systems while making life easier and better for the people of Ghana. In response to the concerns and calls from many of you, we will initiate and undertake the most far-reaching constitutional, political and governance reforms that will restore confidence in our democracy. We will continue and bring to conclusion the constitutional review process that was begun by the late President Atta Mills.
Well, this decision that the former president has made has been met with varied, comments. We spoke to a constitutional expert, also a lawyer, and he mentioned that it will not come easy. It is not as easy as the former president is making it sound. Let's speak with Seth Abloso, who is a labor consultant. He's joining us for some more perspectives on this. Seth, grateful for your time with us on the program. Organized labor, of which you are a part of, has always been against the payment of ex gratia to Article 71 office holders. I want to know why that is so, and then we're also asking you about your reaction to the former president's comment at the launch of his campaign.
Thank you, Crosby Annan, for having me. This is a big question that we did, and it's included in the
Seth, if you can hear me, I'm having trouble hearing exactly what you're saying. If you could reposition yourself so we have that conversation. We're trying to get a better position for Seth Abloso, who's a labor consultant, for some more perspectives on the comments by the former president, John Dramani Mahama, on his desire to scrap the ex gratia payment to Article 71 office holders. That has been a talking point since the former president launched his campaign. Seth, can you hear me now?
Yes, I do. I do hear you.
Right. You're making a point, please.
Yes. I was saying that this is a very vexed question that needs to be dealt with seriously, taking cognizance of the delicate dimensions of it. Now, it's a constitutional provision. So before we deal with it, there has to be a constitutional amendment. But we can't keep piecemeal. We must have a holistic review of the Constitution. And it's surprising that we have a report of the Constitutional Review Committee set up by President Akame gathering dust on the shelves. And this current government has not taken any initiative to ensure that the findings of that committee are brought to bear. And if you recall, the committee was talking about us moving from a political constitution to a developmental constitution.
Right.
Now what the president is, what former President Mahama is promising is something that cannot be dealt with until into 2025. But in the year 2020, the Professor Yan Tiamwa Committee on Emoluments for the 71 office holders made some far-reaching recommendations on dealing with the disparities that exist in the public sector as we speak. And the committee urged government to take urgent steps to address those disparities in the public sector salaries so that the workers there will live in dignity. As at now, they continue to live not in dignity. So it means that we recognize that we don't have fair wages and salaries in the public sector, but we are okay with it. So it looks like when the Article 71 office holders, particularly in the executive, get what is recommended for them, they don't care a hoot.
So, Seth, what you would recommend is maybe a commission like the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission to regulate the salaries and the emolument of the Article 71 office holders instead of what is captured in the Constitution at the moment?
What we need to do now, which has been pending since it was recommended in 2020, is to deal with the disparities in the public sector salaries so that those below the rank of will live in dignity. Before we go talking about what can be looked at in 2025.
Right. Seth, so, I'd like to thank you for your time with us. Seth, thank you so much for joining us on the program. Seth Abloso is a labor consultant speaking with us there in relation to the former president's desire to scrap the payment of the emolument to Article 71 office holders. We understand that is an entrenched position in the Constitution and it will require a referendum for that to be done. It does not come as easy as the former president seems to be making it sound. That is the opinion of Justice Abdullahi, who is a constitutional lawyer. Let's now take a listen to exactly what Justice Abdullahi said concerning the promise, the key promise to scrap ex gratia payment to Article 71 office holders.
Scrapping ex gratia will be very difficult. First, because my understanding of Article 71 is that all the things about ex gratia, in fact, the entire emolument of the executive and indeed the legislature and then other senior government officials who are all captured under Article 71 are persons whose emoluments are not determined necessarily by the president. They are determined by the Constitution. And so for President Mahama to say that he was scratched, for me, is a blessing, it's a good news. But there's a genuine caveat here. It's a very tough call. It's not something that can easily be done. This is not a decision that is made by Parliament. It's not like any other law that Parliament can simply go into caucus meetings and come out and then say that, voila, we've amended the provisions of the Constitution with the Attorney General's involvement and all of that, and so it is a law. Nope. For all of us who have hopes in this happening, we should be measured in our hopes. Not that the man may not do it, but because it is tough, because it is captured under the entrenched provisions of the Constitution, which makes it very difficult to be removed. It means that you have to go through the amendment of the entire Constitution.
Council, granted that it is something difficult to do, and what will it take for the former President Mahama to do that if Ghanaians elect him in 2024?
The amendment procedures are elaborately spelled out within the Constitution, and one would have to go through all those processes. It needs a referendum because it's part of the entrenched provisions of the Constitution. It's specifically mentioned. In fact, that whole chapter dealing with the executive and the emolument and everything else, that is chapter 8, is an entrenched provision, which means that you need a referendum. In other words, the entirety of Ghanaians would have to come together and accept that this is not good for us, it is inimical to our development, and so we must scrap it. And my position is this: it is not the only entrenched provision that we do not want in this country. There are several other entrenched provisions in the Constitution that we do not like. All of that, my position is that President Mahama should include them if he indeed means what he says.
Well, you could also let us know what you think about this subject on any of our social media platforms at TV3 Ghana. Let's move away from that. Now, Fisher foes at Shama Apo in the Shama district of the Western region, they have embarked on a peaceful demonstration to register their displeasure over the lack of a landing beach there. They called on government and the Fisheries Ministry to, as a matter of urgency, rectify the situation. Rama Smith has more in this report.
The fisherfolk, clad in red bands among others, carried placards which read, "No landing beach, no vote." They lament that even though Shama is the capital of the Shama district, it doesn't have a landing beach, unlike the smaller communities along the shore like Abuesi, Amanano and Abuaze. They want this rectified urgently.
In Shama district here, Abuesi, Abuade and Ambrano has been get their share, but as district capital we've been left out. We've tried our best so that government can come to our aid, but here is the case: the government of the day, he is not listening to our needs.
Because they complain that during the rainy season a lot of boats capsize because they don't have the landing beach.
When we enter the rainy season, you will see the waves become strong, the tiger waves. You can't stand when they are coming to land. If you don't take care, or if you if you are not protected by God, the canoe will somersault and everything will come out from your hand. You see, we are facing plenty, so many challenges.
Assemblyman for the area, Ebenezer Amakwando, laments that because of this challenge, many of the fishermen have to dock at either Abuesi or Sekendi, which is quite a distance from Shama.
We can't, park our canoes here. All the time, we're supposed to park our canoes at Sekendi and nearby communities and come and sleep at Shama. Just imagine, if anything, before you will reach the scene or you get to the scene and everything spoiled. And this canoe that we see here, before you will build one, unless you get about 200,000 Ghana cedis. It is not small amount, and our life and our everything depends on the kind of jobs that we are doing here.
He says even though complaints have been made to the right authorities, nothing seems forthcoming, and wants the authorities to act fast to address the situation because it is a big handicap to the fishing community.
So, government of the day, meaning MPP government, Nana Akufo-Addo, come to our aid. Come and help people of Shama. Come and help Apo community. We are crying. We are suffering. Nana, when you are going around touring the country, you come and promise us. When you get the nod, or you've been given the nod, you will come and help us. This is the time.
Now, away from that subject, the Minority Leader, Dr. Kesela Tofosing, has announced that the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Gbagbin, has admitted 2 key motions filed by opposition lawmakers. Now, per this action, one of the speakers, Finance Minister Kenny Furata, will be compelled to send the domestic debt exchange program to Parliament for consideration, according to Dr. Fosing. Now, also, there's going to be a parliamentary committee to probe matters relating to the National Cathedral. North Tom Member of Parliament Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, who has been making a series of some corruption revelations regarding the project, welcomed the call by the National Cathedral Secretariat for a parliamentary probe into the project. Now, earlier, The National Cathedral Secretariat had stated that it is fully prepared to submit the entire project to Parliament's investigations if the House decides to set up a committee to look into the project. Roxanne Nelson, Dafiamekwa is MP for South Dai. He's joining us at the moment for some more perspectives on this. Roxanne, thank you for your time with us on the program. The two motions, the Finance Minister to bring the debt exchange program to Parliament for consideration, and one on the other to probe the National Cathedral project. What is the latest update on that?
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to have joined you. If you recall, we demanded, the minority as it were, to have the Finance Minister come to Parliament to brief the members of Parliament on the issues surrounding the domestic debt exchange program. Now, after some dilly-dally, he came 2 weeks ago. But as you may recall, he only came to give a general, broad perspective on the matter. As is statutorily demanded, and as is constitutionally demanded, he never came with the terms and conditions of the debt restructuring. And it is such a major fiscal policy for the nation going forward. And so as the people's representative, whose investments are being affected massively in this matter, it is our duty to have the terms and conditions of this fiscal policy program examined by Parliament. And then we'll give some forward-looking directions if there need be. But he failed to do that. So we saw it fit as members of Parliament to, as it were, come by a private member's motion to make the demand on him and the government to bring the terms and conditions of the policy to Parliament. And that is all we have done. And that is why Speaker saw it fit to admit the motion. And so we are very grateful for that.
Are we looking at any timelines here, particularly on the National Cathedral project, the probe that Parliament is wanting to conduct into this? Are we looking at any timelines?
Well, the two motions have been admitted today respectively. And so next week, if the business of the House is not too heavy, both will be moved. I'm one of the sponsors for the one demanding for the debt restructuring program to be brought. And Samuel Kujato is also one of the sponsors for the one demanding for an inquiry into the entire National Cathedral expenditure. So once they are successfully moved, Speaker will make the referral to the appropriate committees, ad hoc committees that will be established to look into this matter. And we will be given terms of reference. That is, so the terms of reference of the referral to these committees will determine the timelines, the things to look for, and when to report to Parliament regarding the outcome of the hearing.
My last question before you take leave of us, Honourable. What is Parliament looking to find in these two investigations, if you like?
In respect of the National Cathedral, if you recall, during the 2022-23 budgetary hearings, the National Cathedral Secretary submitted a document. In that document, they indicated that they had spent 229 million Ghana cedis. No, 225 million Ghana cedis. The Finance Ministry, however, brought another set of documents to Parliament to say that it had released 339 million Ghana cedis to the Secretariat. So in that regard, there's a missing link of over 120 million. So it needs to be looked into and the discrepancies and the missing link established. So that is in respect of the National Cathedral. In respect of the debt exchange program, government is renegotiating our external debt as well as the domestic debt. We don't know how long this is going to take, and it has serious implications on our public debt and public finances going forward. So as Parliament, we must be in the know. We need to know the terms, the actual terms and conditions underpinning this negotiation.
Roxanne Nelson Dafiamakwa, thank you so much for your time with us on the program. We've been speaking with Roxanne Nelson Dafiamakwa, who is Member of Parliament for South Dai there. Let's move on away from issues concerning Parliament, the National Cathedral Project and the Domestic Debt Exchange Program, and take you to Nigeria. Now, the head of the ECOWAS Election Observation Mission to the Nigerian polls, Ernest Bai Koroma, wants Ghana to consolidate the democratic gains ahead of the 2024 polls. The former president of Sierra Leone also called for strengthening of election laws to guarantee transparency and accountability. He spoke to Komla Kliche in Abuja.
Ghana's election is coming up, Liberia and others. What specific lessons, for instance, Ghana? What should be specific lessons that Ghana should draw? What inspiration should Ghana be drawing from the Nigerian elections?
Well, I will say that for Ghana, it's also a democracy that West Africans look up to. They have come a long way, and they have to continue to consolidate their gains. They must ensure that the processes, they have had a lot of experience, the processes of improvement based on their past experience are adhered to. We continue to, you see, democracy is evolving. I mean, like even in American orders wherein you have had more than 200 years of a continuous trajectory of democratic growth, you still have elections being disputed. So for Ghana, we look up to a situation wherein you will continue to stay engaged, improve and work on the recommendations that have been made on the past elections, and continue to strengthen the institutions, all of the electoral management bodies where there are laws to be enacted. We put them in place to guarantee transparency and accountability. At the end of the day, what you want is a process whose outcome reflects the true will of the people of Ghana.
Now, the Interior Minister Ambrose Derry says the police are still looking for 3 security guards who were on the run with regards to the serial killings in Wa between February and August 2021. The minister was answering questions in Parliament.
Member of Parliament for Wa West, Peter Tobu, in an urgent question, wanted to know from the Interior Minister the current state of the investigations into the 2021 serial killings in Wa.
The current situation is that the police is yet to locate and identify 3 other missing security guards. The 3 were reported missing between September and October 2022. No arrest has been made in respect of the said 3 missing persons. The police has initiated a vigorous education campaign within the communities to sensitize the citizenry, mostly the youth, on security tips concerning serial killers and kidnappers. Currently, Mr. Speaker, there are about 300 operational policemen on the ground performing day and night mobile and foot patrols, including motor patrols.
Can you assure the people of the Upper West region, very particularly the people of Wa, that this particular case will not join the long queue of cold cases in the Ghana Police Service?
We will do our part, and we will do all it takes to bring all the suspects that we get and all the information that we get to the fore and before the courts, beyond sending them and prosecuting them. We would count on the judiciary that I know is committed to justice to deal with the matters. It will not join cold cases. Otherwise, we would have redrawn and made a code we are still there and it's hot, but also to stay, that the cold cases are not cases that have been consigned to the back burner.
Between February and August 2021, there were serial killings in Wa, which got citizens of the entire municipality worried. The Inspector General of Police and the Interior Minister visited the capital city, Wa, in September, and investigations subsequently commenced.
This is still Midday Live on TV3. Let's bring you some more stories. The Ghana Mine Workers Union has given Sunun Asogli Company 24 hours to reinstate some 70 dismissed workers for allegedly joining the union. The General Secretary of the union, Abdul Mumeng, who gave the ultimatum at a news conference in Accra, further asked the National Labour Commission and the Employment and Labour Relations Ministry to intervene in the matter.
Has just gotten to us today, at this very moment that I am addressing you, is the fact that our branch union secretary has just been issued a termination letter. Our chairman has been issued a termination letter. Our assistant secretary has been issued a termination letter. And the reason, nobody can tell. If you look at what is contained in the so-called termination letter, it's just like looking at your face and telling you that I cannot work with you. And so, what we have done is to notify the National Labour Commission of these developments, and we are demanding that our colleagues should be reinstated. As a matter of fact, as I speak to you, virtually all the unionized members of Sunun Asogli have been escorted out of the premises of the company by the Ghana police. We cannot allow multinationals to get into our shores and violate our laws with impunity. That should not be allowed to happen at all. But like I said, I mean, it is obvious right from the outset, the Commission admitted, and the Commission made it palpably clear to both parties that, look, the workers are treading on the right path. Their right to unionization cannot be truncated by anybody. And so we expect that Sunun Asogli will comply. They must allow these workers to freely exercise these rights. So if workers of Sunun Asogli want to join a union, I mean, we do not see the fuss about it. You are aware that workers of ECG are part of the union, VRA, Gridco, Netco. All these are companies that are into the power sector. They are all unionized. And so on what grounds do you say that Sunun Asogli is an exception, and for that matter, workers cannot join a union?
Now, the chiefs and people of the Akpafu, Central Kofi, Lolobi and Bowi communities have kicked against moves by government to mine iron ore in the area. They argue that the project would not engender the desired benefit, but only lead to the destruction of the environment, just as in other mining communities across the country.
Akpafu, Toji and its environs in the Guan district of the Oti region have vast iron ore deposits. Even though the mineral resource was discovered during the pre-colonial era, it was not until recently that the state showed interest in its commercial exploitation. The area abounds in other rich mineral resources, including clinker and limestone, all of which could help transform the economy. However, the inhabitants have kicked against any attempts at the exploration and mining.
As forest reserves are cleared, there will be lack of oxygen for survival. Source of water for humans and livestock. There will be environmental pollution, as there will be noise, dust, and infectious gases. The ramifications of mining iron ore in this area connected to a wide range of undesirable environmental and social impacts with negative repercussions on people's livelihood are among the reasons why the people of Central Kofi, Akpafu and Boli are protesting. The people are against any attempt to prospect and mine iron ore on their land and will collectively use any means available to protest against it.
The Chidomhene of Central Kofi traditional area, Nana Kofi Olato IV, queried, what use would iron ore mining be to the country if government has failed to make optimum benefits from gold, bauxite, crude oil, among others?
Why we are not happy is that our water resources are all from the mountains that they want to come and mine. If they do that, the explosion will cause our water sources to be disturbed. Number two, the air that will be produced will have a serious effect on the people of Sandgrove and Akpafu people, and then Hokwe municipality and Jessica municipalities and the whole nation at large.
As part of measures to ensure their demands are well coordinated, a 12-member steering committee headed by the chief of Akpafu Odomi and Adontrihene of Akpafu traditional area, Nana Tete Atu, has been constituted.
Now, the Health Ministry and Ghana Health Service have reacted to TV3's latest feature on No Rest in Peace by Godwin Asediba on the post date of public cemeteries. They expect those directly in charge to be proactive in dealing with the matter.
The documentary reveals the sorry state of public cemeteries coupled with poor conditions of service for workers. A walk into the Awudome cemetery, and one is likely to see parts of human skeletal wrapped in rotten clothes of the dead. This human skull I bumped into was frightening.
This is a human skull. Very scary.
This old grave at the cemetery had just been opened and cleared, awaiting a new dead body. The Deputy Minister of Health, Tina Gifty Na Ayele Mensah, described the situation as unacceptable.
If it happens like that, then it's a health issue. No, it shouldn't be so, because yes, like you say, anything that is hazardous to health is health issues, and it should be looked at. We are looking at reaching out health for everybody, and if such a thing, like you're saying, every health issue is an health issue. So no matter what it is, whether it's human or even it is filth or anything, that needs to be looked into.
The Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kumabwaje, called on authorities in charge to be proactive.
Anything of that nature creates an unsanitary environment, and also means that maybe barrier protocols are not done properly, and that's what we need to look at to ensure that barriers are done. It means that certain things are not done very well. That's why we have such things appearing at our cemeteries. There have to be very, very strict protocols, strict guidelines that we must ensure they are followed and they are adhered to. And I think those things are adhered to. The depth and everything that is done, maintenance of the places are done. We will not have such problems. So it's about implementation of guidelines and standards. And we believe as long as that is adhered to, we shouldn't have. Because all barriers, they dig and bury. But I think there are rules, there are ways that have to be done safely. And I think if those things protocols are respected and they are enforced by those who are being paid to do that, we can avoid such happenings. Thank you.
Godwin Asediba, TV3, Accra.
You're watching Media Live on TV3. My name is Noble Crosby, and we still have a lot of stories for you. We have the latest in the world of business beginning after the break with Menua Fox. The Wiz.
Ghana for your friend me nadede se me gina ha na eye Franco television papa amodia bedwaso no na me gusu amedi ho adanse e kiro se wasi hotels, offices, schools, apartments eye Franco television ababawa abrantie ope TV di aba wo dem a ye wo sizes bebre wo ho ye wo 24 inches wo ho ye wo 32 wo ho ye wo 43 wo ho ye wo 55 and akese 65 inches. Now Franco Trading Enterprise a television papa and the border from a him here.
Let's go. Go back. Kwame Kubani.
3FM Gobe Festival.
Gobe Festival. 3FM. Gobe.
Gobe. Let's Gobe.
Gobe Festival.
The 3FM Gobe Festival is sponsored by Malta Guinness, Bell Aqua, Bell Ice, Elegant Sanitizer, Gino.
It's about to get more sporty with a touch of super entertainment with your favorite stars.
Times we played the Quitinge, the Chaskele, the football. Who should I take? Tony Cruz? Oh, why?
While keeping you up to date with every trending issue in your world of sports on Warmer Plus.
But in comes Thomas Tuchel and everything changes.
And when he said he wanted to be better than me, I was happy.
Let's keep it more sporty and super entertaining.
Warm Up Plus now shows on Saturdays at 11 a.m. on TV3.
Brought to you by Betway.
Welcome to the pre-Independence Day edition of the show.
I'm in love. I love you, King. I'm in. I'm not going anywhere.
Okay.
He's mine. Taking him home today.
That's right.
I am a thief and I'm here to steal your heart. Liam crashes me.
Sir, competition is tight.
Yes.
You know I'm a presenter and always we need a designer.
That's right.
And he can't go and design for upcoming. Where incomings are they?
Date Rush shows every Sunday at 8 p.m. on TV3. Don't miss it. Date Rush is sponsored by
Rush Energy Drink,
Airtel Tigo, Sense Body Spray,
Duffy's Health and Beauty, Pepsodent Herbal,
Geisha,
Obuasi Bitters,
Remy Spices, Give Us Herbal Mixture,
Carnival Strawberry, Forever Clear, Acne Control Range and Multi-Fruit Set.
Have you ever wondered why your efforts to lose weight have yielded no results? Because you take too much advice from people who do not understand your body. 3FM has the best program for you. It's the 3FM Fat to Fit 60-Day Weight Loss Challenge. We're tackling the problem from the inside out with well-curated diet plans and workout sessions made for you by our seasoned fitness coach. And we've also created an online support group to hype you along the journey. With discipline, we can do this together. Pick up your phone and call 0550-052-927 to register at a cool 200 Ghana cedis. 3FM Fat to Fit. Lose weight the right way. Fat to Fit is sponsored by Duffy's Herbal Tea and Snatched Herbal Tea.
You're welcome back to the broadcast now for the latest in the world of business. Queen Menua Fuller's joined us. Menua, what do you have for us?
So we have a special Friday feature as we are nicely representing Ghana and we're in the Ghana month. We are bringing you a feature on Made in Ghana chocolate. Wait for it.
Take us away.
The details coming up. So welcome again to the business segment with me, Menu Afo. In our first story today, investor interest in treasury bills continues to increase due to the lucrative interest rates on the market. The decline in bond market activity over the last few months has compelled government to resort to T-bills auction, which has witnessed massive patronage. But how sustainable will the high interest rate regime be? Courage Wuti is with GCB Capital.
On the T-bill side, last week it was about 5 billion in demand, and that's because T-bills are offering 35% plus now, and people seem to prefer that to the bonds that are doing 8, 9, and at best maybe 15% for the category B bondholders, really. And so naturally, people find that attractive, and that is why you see a lot of funds flowing in there. But over time, the T-bill rate will even out. We've seen inflation begin to slow. Whether that trend will continue or not is yet to be seen. But ultimately, inflation will recede, and then you begin to see T-bill rates also recede alongside. It is when we are in such a cycle that you might see activity in these bonds probably get back to the levels we are used to. But that will be a slow and gradual process and not something you expect in the next 2-3 weeks or a month or so.
And in more stories, government tax projections for the banking industry may not be fully realized following the domestic debt exchange program, which is expected to impact heavily on the profits of commercial banks and other financial institutions. Government in the 2023 budget has imposed a profit before tax of 5% on banks and other financial institutions, including insurance firms. Tax expert Francis Timor tells 3 Business current economic difficulties will make it difficult for government's targets to be realized.
The base has been expanded to cover everybody. And so for me, I think that it's something that is there. We may complain that yes, it's additional taxes, but some other companies have been paying. For me, the only risk I see is that it's based on profit before tax, except the oil and gas companies, which is based on their production. So what it means is that if you don't make profit, you don't pay. That is the only risk I see. And especially for the banking sector, I think that the major risk that we are facing now is the debt exchange, which is making a lot of the banks report losses. So the projection that we may have gotten from the banking sector is unlikely that the budgeted revenue will be achieved.
Now we'll move to our special Friday feature as we're in the month of March and we're entreating you to wear Ghana and eat Ghana. So breaking through the highly competitive and saturated European chocolate market with a brand made in Africa comes with its own challenges. But thanks to effective management of one of Ghana's chocolate manufacturers, he's making it big on the world stage. As we mark our Ghana month, 3 Business throws the spotlight on chocolates made here in Amanase in the eastern region of Ghana. Della Michelle has the rest of the story.
Cocoa is Ghana's pride, contributing significantly to the country's total foreign exchange earnings. A variety of products can be derived from the cash crop, but chocolate is the most known. However, there are only a few companies that produce chocolate here in Ghana, with only one organic chocolate producer.
I love chocolate. Whether it's dark chocolate, milk chocolate, but this is my first time in a chocolate factory. This is a wonderful experience, I must tell you.
In our chocolates, you would find real inclusions like hazelnuts, like almonds, like tiger nuts, like baobab, like moringa.
Producing over 10,000 chocolate bars an hour with a 97 employee capacity, Michael Mamonham says market reception for the product has been impressive in the past 2 years and hopeful of gaining more grounds this year.
They like it. I wouldn't call it a change, revolution kind of thing, but I would say the add-ons to what already existed, the new variety that people are beginning to see.
But the company is bearing the brunt of the current economic situation.
The tariffs on utility, for example, electricity. In the very beginning, we were doing an average monthly cost of electricity at just about 25,000 Ghana cedis. And then just in 2 months, we are looking at 45,000 max. And this has made cost of operations very difficult, coupled with the fact where you are paying the same salaries, and if you are doing a dollarized conversion, you realize that what looked like $200 last year for an employee now is just $83.
He wants to see government take more initiatives to create a better thriving environment for Ghanaians with dreams of culturing a niche for themselves in local production.
Government, if indeed wants to walk the talk, can do much more. Imagine if we had up to 20 companies in Ghana all processing cocoa beans and turning it from cocoa beans to liquor, butter, cake, powder, chocolate, instant chocolate drinks, spreads, anything possible to be done with cocoa. Imagine the amount of jobs this would create. Imagine the amount of value. The industry is said to be worth billions.
However, all hope is not lost, as there is light at the end of the tunnel, especially for young chocolatiers such as Helena Amponsa.
When I was a kid, I had people going for excursions at the chocolate factory, and when they come, they tell us that we ate a lot of chocolate, and I was like, wow, I always heard of them, but I never got a chance to get so close to anything like chocolate. This is another opportunity. I never thought I would be so close to chocolate.
She debunks assertions that made in Ghana goods are substandard.
Don't just sit home and listen to what people have said. Try to experience it. Because coming to Amanase has changed my perception about Ghana goods.
This is how local chocolate is being produced by Fair Afrique in Ghana. So the next time you take a bite, you should appreciate made in Ghana goods. My name is Della Michelle.
And that was a beautiful Friday feature by my colleague Della Michelle. This brings us to the end of the business segment, but we'll continue to entreat you to wear Made in Ghana, eat Ghana, and do everything Ghana as we're in the month of March. Stay with us for sports shortly. I am Menu Afo.
Sun rises, there is hope. While this hope lingers on, the citizens look up to the government, the economy, the national development agenda, and everything in between.
On Ghana Tonight, it's our utmost priority to bring you insightful conversations on the economy, break down the biggest issues while setting the agenda for transformation and national development. The big and important stories are treated from the human interest angle, while the facts and the figures are painted with precision. So now, let's cut the convention and start the conversation here on Ghana Tonight. I am your host, Alfred Okamse.
Ghana Tonight shows Monday to Friday at 10 p.m. on TV3.
Have you ever wondered why your efforts to lose weight have yielded no results? Because you take too much advice from people who do not understand your body. 3FM has the best program for you. It's the 3FM Factor Fit 60-Day Weight Loss Challenge. We're tackling the problem from the inside out with well-curated diet plans and workout sessions made for you by our seasoned fitness coach. And we've also created an online support group to hype you along the journey. With discipline, we can do this together. Pick up your phone and call 0550-052-927 to register at a cool 200 Ghana cedis. 3FM Factor Fit. Lose weight the right way.
Factor Fit is sponsored by Duffy's Herbal Tea and Snatched Herbal Tea.
Let's go. Go back.
3FM Gobe Festival.
Gobe Festival. 3FM. Gobe.
Festival.
The 3FM Gobe Festival is sponsored by Malta Guinness, Bell Aqua, Bell Ice, Elegant Sanitizer, Gino.
Everybody, this is us.
Us. Yay! We are talented. We have skill. We are smart. We have brought you the most exciting kids show with so much to learn. Don't miss out on the latest episodes of the Kids Arena because it promises to be fun, interactive, and educative. Kids TV has taken a whole new direction and we are excited to be part of it.
Come and dance, come and join us. Jump around us as we take you into a whole new world.
Kids Arena, this is us.
In the Kids Arena, yay!
Kids Arena shows Saturdays at 10 a.m. on TV3. Don't miss it.
An experience is about to hit you.
Ghana, are you ready?
I'm Arena.
People they show me support. Now, me changing me job. LBC or Beme Dami, maybe born abroad.
They auditioned, the judges loved them, and now it's time for you to experience their talents.
One stage hosting great talents from all over the country.
Talents?
Check.
Hosts?
Check.
Judges?
Check.
It's the 14th edition of Talented Kids, the very best weekly show every Sunday, right here on TV3 at 4 p.m.
Remember to vote for your favorite contestant by dialing *713*13# or simply download the TV3 reality app. Talented Kids, free to play!
Talented Kids shows on TV3 every Sunday at 4 p.m.
Powered by Indomie. Sponsored by Pepsodent Cavity Fighter, Cowbell, Heaven Black Mosquito Coil and Insecticide Spray, Enapa Mackerel, Kiki Juice Drink, Flora Tissues, Top...
Welcome back to the broadcast. Danoriku Nyamiche has joined us for the latest in the world of sports. What do you have for us, Danoriku?
Well, thank you very much. We'll be looking at the super clash happening this weekend between Kotoko and Hartefolk, and so we're building after that one.
Right, take us away.
Okay, and so we'll be starting off from the camp of Hartefolk because there is some piece of disturbing news. Their head coach, Slavko Matic, has been spotted at the police headquarters in Accra after he was prevented and allegedly assaulted by some Hartefolk fans on Friday morning. The Serbian trainer has come under massive pressure over a poor run of results. Hartefolk have been bundled out of the MTN FA Cup by Dreams FC in the round of 32 stage, and having recorded a 3-1 win over Berkum Chelsea, the team has suffered back-to-back defeats against Aduana Stars and Accra Great Olympics respectively. The Phobians now sit 6th on the league log with just 28 points. And so that's some news coming in, but let's go back to what Slavko Matic did say before the occurrences this morning. After their defeat against Accra Great Olympics, Hartefolk were essentially winless in their last 2 games, but their head coach Matic was calling on Phobian fans to believe ahead of the super clash this weekend.
When it's big game like Hartefolk, Asante Kotoko, derby game, everything is possible. You must believe we have enough time for recovering, and we hope that we will take points. We must believe how much you are big, how much you believe in yourself. That's it.
Well, Hartefolk take on Asante Kotoko in the League/President's Cup tie this weekend, Sunday, 3 p.m. at the Accra Sports Stadium. But let's do more here, where it's been more than 2 weeks since Chris Hughton was announced as the new head coach of the Black Stars. Communications Director of the Ghana Football Association, Henry Asante Chum, has assured Ghanaians that the 64-year-old coach will be unveiled by next week. He was speaking to 3 Sports.
We're expecting Chris in Ghana, hopefully next week. If all things, go according to plan. We are in constant engagement with him. We've spoken to him a number of times. I've personally spoken to him a number of times. We know exactly what is expected of us in terms of his unveiling, in terms of media engagement, in terms of the build-up to the games. Chris had to stay behind or stay a little longer in the UK because of some personal reasons. He lost his dad, and as a result he needed to stay and have time with the family and prepare the burial service and all of that. That is why he's not been to Ghana yet, but he's working. I can tell you that Chris and his assistants are working. They will be unveiled together. Hopefully when he arrives we will communicate the date and the venue for his unveiling, and then we will use that as part of the build-up to the game against Angola. Of course it's happening on Thursday, 23rd of March. There will also be squad announcements, but all these things will be detailed in terms of engagement, remuneration, number of years, and the targets that have been set for the new technical team.
Well, that's how we'll be wrapping up the sports segment here on Midday Live. Just a reminder that as we're celebrating Ghana Month, it would be a good opportunity to be at the Accra Sports Stadium this Sunday at 3 p.m. to support our 2 traditional clubs, Hartefolk and Asante Kotoko, as they face off in the League Games/President's Cup. My name is Oreko Ampofo, and if you're after some more sports stories, you can follow us on Twitter at 3SportsGH. Up next on the bulletin is entertainment with Noella.
Greetings. Let's do some entertainment updates here on Midday Live. My name is Noella. Now, African filmmakers have been urged to submit their films for the 2023 edition of the Africa Magic Viewers' Choice Awards, AMVCA nominations, as nominations for the prestigious awards open. Movies and films publicly exhibited or broadcasted between 1st December 2021 and 31st January 2023 are eligible. To enter the 9th edition of the awards, filmmakers have to prepare a 5-minute-long show reel and submit on the Africa Magic website. Aside the Best Online Social Content Creator category, which acknowledges the rising popularity of content creators in Africa, this year's event comes with additional categories such as Lifetime and Trailblazer honors. The new categories provide an opportunity for more stakeholders in the industry to participate and showcase their exceptional work. Now to some more stories. You know, we're in the month of Ghana month, and every single show here on TV3 is going to be to that regard. And so before the days of Jackie Appiah, Yvonne Nelson and the likes, there was Mame Dokono, a face that gave Ghanaians a reason to stick to their television sets. Born Grace Omabo, the veteran actress started off as a writer on Osofo Dadzi in the 70s. She moved on to become one of the sought-after actresses of her time when starring in several movies, projects, and co-hosting educative TV program for kids By the Fireside. This Sunday on the Day Show with Bella Mundi, we get to experience a 21st century rendition of By the Fireside with Madam Grace Omabo and have an extensive conversation on it. Make a date with us on Sunday at 3 p.m. on TV3 this Ghana month. And that's how we wrap up here on Midday Live. My name is Noella.
French President Emmanuel Macron promised 52.9 million to a new global scheme to reward countries for protecting their forest and biodiversity as he called for more concrete action on global climate commitments. The pledge was announced at the end of the two-day One Forest Summit in Gabon that aimed to assess progress made since last year's COP27 climate conference and renew targets for the preservation and sustainable management of the world's forests. The funding from France as part of a joint $106 million commitment to kickstart a mechanism that aims to reward countries that are scientifically proven to have protected their forest and restored them. Contaminated cough and paracetamol syrups imported into Gambia almost certainly caused the deaths of 66 children due to acute kidney injury, according to an investigation led by the United States Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and Gambian scientists. The links between the children's deaths and contaminated medicines first came to light in October when the World Health Organization sent out an alert saying 4 cough syrups made by India's Maiden Pharmaceuticals Limited contain toxic levels of diethylene and ethylene.
Well, that's it for our package this afternoon. We came to you from our News Hub studios here at Adisawe Kanda in Accra, and we're live on DSTV channel 279, also on live on Facebook and all our social media platforms at TV3 Ghana. My name is Noble Crosby, and on behalf of the entire production team, thank you so much for watching the program. Good afternoon. Bye-bye.